Now, a starting point to any racing dream is horse ownership, and one of the best places to feel the excitement of entering into the racing industry is at a horse auction.
Oh, it's so fun. Just don't scratch your nose or, like, pop your hand up
No, you
unexpectedly.
might be a bit lighter in the wallet.
World of trouble. But the Inglis yearling sales were held earlier this month at the Riverside Stables, and you went along and caught up with Mark Webster.
Yeah, I certainly did. That was the classic yearling sales, and the premiere starts in Melbourne tomorrow, so here's Mark. Well, there was everything to try and stop the classic yearling sale, the rain. It was almost an island, but it went really well in the end.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. Look, we had a lot of rain over a period of 3 days, but we had a lot of people here as well, and the sale performed extremely well. We traded just over $47 million over 3 days and cleared 86% of the horses on offer. That's our third classic sale here at Riverside Stables. If you just look back 5 years, this sale was trading $19 million, averaging 41,000 5 years ago. This year, $47 million and averaging 87,000. So it's more than doubled in 5 years. I think that's really just saying that the Australian racing and breeding industry just keeps booming. People want to be involved in this sport, and they came and they supported the sale.
Castelvecchio heading top gear, and Castelvecchio charges away down the Champagne.
Castelvecchio was our first Group 1 winner to come from this facility. You know, he won a Group 1 as a 2-year-old. That is really the big tick, and it's the way to make a fortune really in the industry. 150,000 turned into $15 million in the space of a few minutes. So that in itself is fantastic. He won the English Millennium as well in that first year. And gee, to run second to such a good mare in the Cox Plate, really put him right up there. I think he was rated one of the top 35 horses in the world as a result.
Prime Star, the outside stretching. Here's the post, and Prime Star good up to beat Bella Nepotina.
Yeah, look, another cheapie. Prime Star, Richard Freeman and Michael Wallace bought that particular horse. And, you know, one of the most exciting and rewarding things for me on the day, 4 of the owners in this horse are first-time owners, and I was standing next to them on the rail as Prime Star saluted, and they were beside themselves. They could not believe it, of course. You know, a couple of the gentlemen involved have, been dealing with serious health issues, and for them it was just something to do to keep their mind off their sickness, to take a little share in a horse, and they won a $2 million race.
And that's part of the magic, isn't it? We talk big dollars, we talk the corporate side of things, but in your position, it's those stories, those human stories, which are so prevalent every weekend, that really make it.
Yeah, look, that's what keeps me in this job. I've been here 13 years now, and it's the people that we're involved with. Now, of course, there are wealthy individuals that buy expensive horses that do well, but I think there are many more stories about everyday people like us that are out buying shares in horses. They might only buy a 2% share in a horse, but the whole family gets behind that and they have their success, and and it's a big social event to go racing. If they win, it's a bonus.
So I know it's a few years ago now, but she was such a great racehorse, and we saw her again the other day. Black Caviar and the Premier Sales, they sit side by side so beautifully.
Yes, they do. It was great to see her the other week at Flemington for Black Caviar Lightning Stakes Day. So great to see her back again on a feature race day named in her honour. But, just to bring things up to date, her race, first 4 home, were won by English graduates, horses that we've sold at our sales, and G-Tra, a graduate of the Premier Sale, which is starting tomorrow.
Just beautiful facilities out there as well.
Amazing.
So looking forward to spending a little bit more time there this season.
Exactly. Good hotel there too.
Well, joining us now is Sebastian Hutch, General Manager of Bloodstock Sales and Marketing at Inglis. Good morning to you, Sebastian. We saw how strong the sales have been so far this year at Inglis. Can we expect all that and more tomorrow?
Morning, Julie. Morning, Tim. Look, we're very optimistic in advance of the start of the sale tomorrow. Huge amount of work goes into preparation for a sale like this. I mean, obviously, from the point of view of the auction house, we've been encouraging and canvassing people for the sale for upwards of 12 months since last year's renewal. But for the breeders that are involved in this sale, this is the culmination of many years of planning, work, even the period of preparation of the yearling for the sales. There's a lot of work goes into it, and obviously comes with that a degree of pressure. So, you know, we're hoping that it goes well.
Sebastian, let's go, just give people a little bit of an outline. So basically we started with the classic yearling sale, and we mentioned how Castel Vecchio is almost like the poster boy of that sale. This is the premier sale, and then the Easter sale obviously comes in a few weeks' time. But Black Caviar, we're going back a few years, but still very much the highlight in a lot of ways of this sale in Melbourne, where you are.
Yeah, look, she was an extraordinary race mare. I don't think we'll ever see a filly of her calibre, you know, capable of competing not just domestically but internationally to the extent that she did. I mean, she was unbeaten and unbeatable, so it's very, very rare to come across a filly of that quality. You know, you never know. At a yearling sale, you might unearth the next one, but I don't think even the most optimistic of us will think that we'll find another Black Caviar. This sale has been, you know, really fantastic for any number of years, but particularly the last couple of years. Results for graduates to this sale have been really quite extraordinary. You know, there have been 14 Group 1 winners out of the sale since the start of 2018, and significantly 8 of those were sold for $100,000 or less, which is demonstrative of the value that can be found here, which is a very important point for us to dwell on.
Look, it's looking a picture-perfect day there in Melbourne today. Are you expecting overseas buyers to perhaps be embracing the online bidding, given everything that's surrounding this coronavirus situation at the moment?
Look, Julie, I think the weather is an important point to touch on. It's far more accommodating in Melbourne than it was in Sydney 3-4 weeks ago. We were greeted by a monsoon for the first day of the sale, so fortunately it's really quite pleasant today and hopefully will be pleasant tomorrow. The online bidding is, you know, really an important thing for us because it facilitates people who might not be in a position to attend the sale in person. We have a number of people who have actually attended the inspection days in advance of the sale, will go home and will bid from the comfort of their couch or their desk or, you know, wherever they're most comfortable, and buy horses that way. You know, it's always exciting for a vendor to see the green screen light up with an online bid, and, you know, we have a number of investors in Hong Kong in particular who use that very, very effectively.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong about the weather around Warwick Farm. There were vendors wading in. It was extraordinary. It was right in the middle of that massive downpour. We all needed the rain, but it came in buckets because I was out there for a couple of days. Look, I'm really looking forward to coming to Melbourne tomorrow and the next day. It's one of those events that is, it's great for families. It's great for anyone to come along. It doesn't matter what your interest of horse racing is, because one, it's a great day out, it's exciting, but two, hey, if you want 1% or 2%, you can do that too.
Oh, look, what I think is fantastic about our sport is a lot of the major participants, be they the trainers, jockeys or the horses, are very readily accessible. I mean, anybody who comes out to Oaklands over the next number of days who has a passion for horse racing, you know, has the potential to meet any number of the leading trainers in the country, because they'll be all here at the sale. You know, a number of the jockeys come out, and then in terms of horse flesh, you get to see the future champions. You know, you might see the next Black Caviar, you might see the next Santana Lane, you might see the next Group 1 winner, and that's what's exciting. So we'd encourage anybody to come out and, you know, just to observe the spectacle of the sale. It really is very enjoyable. The atmosphere out here tomorrow will be fantastic, you know, assuming the weather prevails in a manner that we hope it will, and we're looking forward to a good few days.
Spectacle is the word, Sebastian. It is just an incredible event to be a part of, and if you love the industry, if you've got a family, go out and check it out, because it is just something else to behold. Don't pop your hand up unnecessarily.
Yeah, well,
don't scratch the nose.
But you just, Sebastian, in closing, you just mentioned Santana Lane, and Santana Lane, arguably the best sprinter in the country. $80,000, wasn't it? I think, something like that.
Yeah, I know Mark mentioned previously G-Tra, you know, he was a $40,000 yearling. One I particularly enjoy is Kenedna. You know, she won 2 Group 1s out of the sale, cost $80,000, $1.2 or $2.1 million in prize money, and is now in foal to done deal. You know, she's one of the most valuable broodmares in the country, so the owners of her, you know, effectively have almost 2 generations of enjoyment out of her. Obviously her race career and potentially the subsequent race career of her progeny. So, you know, you think the fun and enjoyment that people get out of that, it really is something special. And you're talking about value. People associate yearling sales with stock being expensive, but, you know, this sale certainly has produced any number of good value graduates, and hopefully there'll be more to come over the next 3 days.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have 2% of it, whatever it is. Thanks, Sebastian.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sebastian.